talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host. And Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Mindset Monday. Mindset Monday is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to talk about whatever it is we want to talk about. And today we got part 2 of financial social work with Miss Beneisha J. Hires, who is a clinician here, whose focus is on Black men's mental health, but she also is a certified financial social worker. So we're going to get into it in just a little bit. But before we do, I want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Greater Works Network on RokuTV. This is an interactive live, so I fully expect to hear from all of you. If you will, put your city and state in the comments so I can give you a shout out. This is a safe space for us to communicate with one another, and we want your comments, we want your questions, we want your interactions. So please handle us, be with us, hang with us tonight. All right, this is the focus of Mindset Monday as well as Wellness Wednesday, is to encourage us to get our checkup from the neck up and to be our best self. So I see you, Ari Williams from Tallahassee, Florida. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. We got Mr. Ozzy Daniel from Virginia. Happy Monday, everyone. Appreciate you, Ozzy. Ozzy will be on at the end of the month. We got my mom on. Good evening, Ma. Thank you for being here. And oh boy, I forgot all about Beneisha is from Palaca, so they about to be up in here tonight. All right, Ebonique. Thank you for being here. We got Fred Martin. Thank you for being here from Tampa. Checking in. We got Belinda Hope. Hey, my sister. She is in Texas. Thank you for being here. Happy Monday. All right. So others will join us, and rightfully so. I'm going to do a recap before we jump into our conversation. But before I bring Beneisha on, I want you to know a little bit about her. Beneisha Hires is a licensed clinical social worker, certified financial social worker, and qualified supervisor for registered clinical social work interns. She received her undergraduate and graduate degree in social work from the University of South Florida in Tampa, Florida. She's been working in the field of mental health since 2014. Beneisha has experience providing risk assessment and crisis intervention, biopsychosocial assessments, individual and group counseling, discharge planning, care coordination, and mental health and substance abuse treatment. She's worked in various settings, including community mental health, the public school system, the criminal justice system, collegiate institutions, and inpatient psychiatric facilities. In her free time, she enjoys spending time with her family and friends, engaging in outdoor activities, reading, cooking, exercising, and relaxing on the beach. So y'all help me welcome Miss Beneisha Hires.
Hey, y'all.
Yay! What's up? What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. It's Monday, but
It's
we
Monday.
here.
It's Monday. We here. Yes. It is September 11th. So I know we've been hearing all about the incident that happened 22 years ago where many lives were lost on that day here in our country. So definitely our hearts and prayers go to the families who lost loved ones during that time. So I think this day will forever be etched in our hearts and minds in this country as we, remember those who lost their lives on that day. So, on a happier note, I want to have you tell the people, especially those who may not have been here for part one of our discussion on financial social work, tell them a little bit about who you are. I talked a little bit about what you do, but a little bit about who is Beneisha Hires.
Okay. So I am a mother, a daughter, a family member, a friend. I am very passionate about men's mental health. Any opportunity that I have to support Black men, making sure they get that checkup from the neck up, as you and our friend Antonio mentioned, always promoting that. Um, I enjoy DIY projects in my spare time.
Okay.
Anything that really allows me to be creative. I'm human, so I'm prone to making mistakes. And that's pretty much it. Just very simple.
Nice. Well, I'm so glad that you have agreed to come back by popular demand after our last conversation. Folks were like, "You got to bring her back. You got to bring her back." So I'm glad we were able to schedule this, not too far from our last conversation. So we got a number of people chiming in. So I definitely want to acknowledge them. Lucille Lee in Midway, Alabama. Thank you for being here. Katrish Wright. I hope I said that right in Tallahassee. Alexis Blackman, cuz from Troy, Alabama. We got Romisha Lee in Montgomery. Thank you for being here. Breath of Fresh Air in David in Chicago, Illinois. And your mom.
Hey, Mom.
Nice. Thank you all for being here. For those of you who are new to this platform, I definitely want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. We are here on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. and our focus is mental health and wellness. Before me and Beneisha get into it though, because I have a licensed clinician on here, I got to read my disclaimer. So y'all just bear with me. All topics, past, present, and future, on Conversations with Nicole are for informational purposes only. They are not to be used as a diagnosis for treatment or an answer to any personal issue discussed, related to the topic being discussed before, during, or after the program. All right, I said it. So I'm gonna do a brief recap because some folks may have not have been on here and may not even know what financial social work is. So in fact, I'm gonna have you start out by telling us what is financial social work.
So essentially, financial social work is a model that helps clients or individuals understand their relationship with money. So essentially, how their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors could impact how they earn money, spend money, and save money.
Yes, very good. So some of the things that we talked about as it relates, and I have my handy dandy notebook here because y'all know I love to take some notes. We talked about changing our language and not
Mm-hmm.
talk about budgets, but talk about savings and spending plans.
Mm-hmm.
We also talked about impulse spending, YOLO, which is you only live once, FOMO, which is fear of missing out, and also that avoidance isn't going to solve your problems. Being
Correct.
kind to yourself, acknowledging where you are in terms of your mindset about money, and make a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. Now, I went through that really quick. So if you miss part one, you'll need to go back to Conversations with Nicole, YouTube or Facebook, and check that episode out. Because we're going to move forward because we got a lot of stuff we want to cover tonight that we did not cover last time. All right. I see Miss Keosha has joined us in Tallahassee. Thank you for tuning in. And Miss Lucy Walker from Miami Gardens.
My cousin Lucille. Hey.
Yes, thank you for being here. Look, you bring them out, Beneisha. I'm telling you, you bring them out, you bring them out. And Miss Tracy Golay in Tallahassee as well. Thank you for being here, Tracy. All right, so some of the things that we said we wanted to kind of tackle were lack of financial literacy.
Yes. So I mean, to some extent, I want to say it's self-explanatory, but clearly it's not. There is a lack of financial literacy within the Black community. Um, and I think it's because the way in which we view money is very different. So, depending upon what generation you are, so for an example, my mother's generation is one of which, you work so many years, you save, or you work into retirement, but they did a lot of saving because her generation was towards the end of the Great Recession, right?
Mm,
And during that time, a lot of individuals lost so much. And so, after suffering such a great loss, then when you start to become employed and making the income, you want to save because you never know when that rainy day may occur again. And
right.
there's not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I think that it is a good skill to have to be able to save
Mm-hmm.
because it shows discipline, right? However, a big part of financial literacy is understanding how money works. So when our money is sitting in the bank, we might get interest and it might be 0.1%, right? But our money really isn't generating additional income for us when it's sitting in the bank. If anything, the bank is using our money to lend out to others to make these financial institutions more money. So with financial literacy, it's important to understand not only saving, right, but how do we invest? Also, how do we earn? Sometimes we will stay at these jobs that we feel are a dead end or they're not paying us enough, to where we're unable to really invest, or it keeps us in a cycle of, as I mentioned before, feeling like we have to rob Peter to pay Paul because we're just not making enough money at our jobs. But instead of looking for other sources of employment, right, or other sources of income that will sustain us, but also allow us the opportunity to have additional revenue to invest, right, and create additional income, we
Mm-hmm.
don't, right? We just continue to stay in those same places. And then you have credit cards.
All right.
We have credit cards. And I mentioned the last time that I was on here, um, that there was an article that came out that said that the United States is $1 trillion in credit card debt.
Ooh.
So that means that even though inflation is a big thing, it is looking as if it is a recession. I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't feel comfortable being like, hey, we're in a recession. But inflation is definitely a thing. However, credit card debt has increased. So that means that we continue to spend.
Yeah.
And so I wonder how much of that spending is on necessity or just the things that we want versus the things that we need.
Mm-hmm. Good question. So I would also say with financial literacy that the financial arena has really transformed quite a bit from your mom's time to our time, right?
Mhm.
Credit cards weren't such a big thing, at least not in terms of how widespread they are now. Maybe there was a charge card for a particular store, but not something that you use kind of universally,
Mhm.
right? People save money to maybe build a house or for their purchases, um, or maybe borrow money from a family member or something like that, or several family members, right?
Mhm.
So, especially I think in the Black community, like, we weren't really utilizing financial institutions because we couldn't,
Mhm.
you know? So I think, again, that is part of why perhaps there is uh, that there has been a lack of financial literacy in the Black community and, has been passed down. And so, we've kind of had to learn as these new instruments have come on board and we've gained access to them, right?
Correct. And
Mm-hmm.
so just to make it simple, right? And So another word for instrument is tools. Because when we learn how to use these things appropriately, they do become tools that we can utilize to kind of help us advance. And
Right.
so when you really learn how money works and how credit works, you will learn how to leverage credit, right? To put you in a better financial situation. Or you will learn the difference between a charge card and a credit card. A charge card, whatever that balance is, so if it is $200 when that bill comes out, they want the whole $200, right? But when it comes to a credit card, you may have a balance of $200, but your minimum payment would be, $30. So understanding the difference between credit cards, or understanding that all credit cards are not the same. There are differences between them, and knowing interest rates. So again, it is a lot of that goes into it. And like you say, we may not have the knowledge because it may not have been passed down. However, I feel like in today's time, respectfully, that's no longer an excuse because we have too much access to information. And at some point, we have to want to know this information, because a lot of times we talk about generational wealth. And with generational wealth, the term within itself kind of makes me feel uneasy. And the reason being is because when you say generational wealth, it gives the impression as if we're not doing enough, right? Now, granted, there's an opportunity for us to do more. But when I hear generational wealth, it kind of puts me in the mindset of like, oh, even though I have achieved these different levels, or even if I may be doing better than the generations before me, when I hear generational wealth, it's like, oh shucks, I'm not doing enough, versus again being kind to ourselves and being like, hey, you're in a better position than what the generations before you were in. So you are making progress. And if you continue to pass this knowledge on to those generations coming behind you, then they can improve in some way or another.
And let me just say, I like to offer that generational wealth, in my personal opinion, is not just bound or restricted to finances.
Mhm.
I mean, there is generational wealth that is also knowledge, that is also skills that are, tangible, that can be passed down, that can be valuable to you. So I don't want to just relegate it to finances.
So I'm happy you said that, because instead of focusing so much on generational wealth, I try to focus on what is the generational plan. So what
Okay.
have the generation before us, what have they done, right? So again, my mom's generation, she saved. She is really good at saving.
Mm-hmm.
But what, in knowing how to save and learning that from my mom, how could I use that plan or that skill that she has taught me and take it to the next level? So it's like, okay, Beneisha, you know how to save. Now you need to learn how to invest. So what are some good strategies to invest? And that is a plan. So with taking the knowledge that I've learned from my mom, adding to it, then I can pass this plan down to my children and be like, your Nana taught us how to save. I'm teaching us how to invest. What can you do with this plan? How can we put our heads together, right? And see how can we take this plan to the next level, and really having these conversations. A lot of times we do not have conversations about money. It's as if it is taboo and it's not beneficial to us.
Indeed, indeed. All right, so we got to pause real quick
Okay.
because a number of people on here. Adrian Harmon, thank you for being here. My sister Shayla, thank you for being here. Shanice said, I don't have one credit card in my 31 years of life. Wow, that's awesome. Roz, thank you for being here, Roz. She is being my hype woman tonight. She said, please like the stream, guys. Yes, please, please, please. All right, Shanice, Alabama, thank you. My sister, my sister friend Susan in Virginia, thank you for being here. Shanice is amening us, and Bama is checking in. And Keosha said, generational wealth is also about prioritizing health. Yes. Amen, Keosha. Absolutely agree. And Stephanie just joined us. Thank you for being here. Stephanie's in Tallahassee. So I like that generational plan, and the the idea that, and the reality is that we do need to be talking about money. We do need to
Mhm.
be talking about spending and savings and investing and things of that nature. So yeah, that's rich. That's all part of the financial literacy. And as you were stating, it's kind of like no excuse, right? We have all
Mhm.
of these resources before us, the library, your devices, advisors, financial social workers. So we got all of these resources before us that we can utilize to make sure we are financially literate, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even in having these resources, another one um, that I think is very valuable that we're not always aware of is financial institutions such as banks.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of times, what we'll do is when we establish a bank account, we go to the one that sounds the most familiar, right? Or if we're in a small town, the main one that is there. And so we just go in and we set up a checkings and a savings account. We get our debit card, and essentially that is it, right? And some of us, hopefully, well, some of us probably know, hey, it is really important to learn how to vet your financial institutions. And
Mm-hmm.
so instead of just going to this bank because it is the one that everyone goes to, instead of going there and creating a business relationship, because essentially that is what it is. When you give them your money to put into this bank account, again, they utilize this money to loan out to other people to make more money. So if
Mm-hmm.
they are making money off of your money, I think it would benefit us to know what resources are available to us that we could use to our advantage. And so some of the ways of vetting these financial institutions is going to the website, understanding what services do they offer. Are they consumer friendly, so for individuals, or are they business friendly? And what I mean by that is, you know do they have a category for consumers, and it tells what services they offer, whether it be mortgage loan servicing, whether it be auto loans, or do they have services in which they can kind of help you repair your credit? So really taking time to spend on their website to see, is this a good financial institution for me to create a business relationship with? Even though you're going there for the consumer side, it is still a business relationship. If they're Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish that thought.
I was going to say, if their consumer section is really small, but their business category is overflowing with resources, we may want to continue to shop around, because that might be an indication that that financial institution caters more so to businesses and have resources for that demographic.
So I'm gonna get the audience involved. How many of you all vet your financial institution before you do business with them? How many of you do the research in terms of going to their website or asking other people who may asking some of their customers about their experiences? How many of you do that? If you will, in the comments, just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let us know, if you don't mind. Again, this is a safe space for communicating, so please feel free. I see Miss Jeanette has chimed in. She said, in 2019, the white household wealth was 189,000, while the black household net worth was 100 and was, I think she was saying, okay, I think she meant the black household net worth was 24,100. I think she meant the white household net worth was 189,000. You said household wealth, and then you said black household net worth, and you gave two of the same amount. So I think I understand what she's saying, but Miss Jeanette, if you could clarify that a little bit. All right, so we got some folks chiming in. Miss Karen is on. Hey Karen, she said I do. Dee Dee Eubanks said I do. Wonderful. Oh, she said her computer is not cooperating. That's all right, Miss Jeanette. I appreciate you commenting. Dominique Long is here, says hello. All right, so we got a couple of people that say they do vet their financial institution before doing business with them. Listen, That's important. Very important.
It definitely is when you go in and sit down or request to sit down with
Mm,
one of their financial advisors and just ask them, hey, what services do you offer? What might I be eligible for? Do you pull credit scores? Can you tell me what my credit score is? Because oftentimes they do run your credit score. And so
yeah.
that may be a financially feasible way for us to get access to our credit scores, and figuring out what is on that report. What are some things that we need to work on?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at our credit report on a consistent basis, a
Yeah.
lot of times we do not pay attention to our credit. We do not know what is on there. And so when we go in and we're trying to apply for these different types of loans and we are denied, and we're wondering why, because again, either we have one or two credit cards and we pay them on time, but not knowing that there could be other things on our credit report, but we've just never taken the time to really look at it. And some of that could be related to fear, it could be related to a lack of knowledge. But at the end of the day, your credit score is a very important part as far as what financial services you may be able to qualify for.
Yes. Now, I will say this, credit scores are a relatively new phenomenon. I've worked in the affordable housing arena for quite a while. And I can remember when I first started, they were not looking at credit scores at all. Like, that was not something that they did. And so, I have in my in my years of, because at one point I was a certified housing counselor, which meant basically I reviewed credit reports and looked at scores and could tell people the things that they needed to do to resolve their credit score or resolve their credit issues in order to become mortgage credit ready.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have, taken a number of classes and whatnot, and realized what these credit scoring models are all about, which is really a comparison of people and their spending habits. Like, they actually pull people together based on their spending habits to determine what these scores are going to be. And so it's really a racket, to be quite honest with you, but it is the way that the world system operates. And so, you know, they determine risk, from
Mm-hmm.
your light bill to insurance to whether they're going to give you a mortgage or a car loan or, any type of lending, and even not only limited to lending, but it is, a deciding factor for extending you a number of things, jobs, even sometimes they look at credit scores, licensure, they look
Mm-hmm.
at credit scores. So I consider it to be a weeding out device personally.
So I do agree that it is used to weed people out, right?
Hmm.
However, again, because we're talking about financial social work specifically in the Black and Brown community,
Hmm.
um, sometimes what happens is, and again, we just gonna tell it like it is, okay? Sometimes our parents, right, will get different utilities or credit cards in our names
Hmm.
that mess up our credit score. And
Yeah.
so that within itself is what is adding to this wealth gap that we speak so much of. So if I am sitting up here having to put utilities in my daughter's name, for one, I need to check myself and figure out, hey, what is going on with my financial situation that I'm unable to utilize my own credit to get these adult utilities or
Right.
responsibilities in my name, right?
Mhm.
And what am I going to do to try to address this? And when we put, sometimes parents will put these different things in their children's names. So when the child becomes an adult, they have a horrible credit score and they haven't had not one credit card to their knowledge.
Mm.
And it puts them in a very difficult situation because the only way to really dispute these things on a credit report is to file a police report for fraud, because essentially it is identity theft. But in
Mhm.
our community, of course, it would be frowned upon to file a police report on my mom who put, a cell phone bill in my name and never paid it, and now it has my credit messed up. And so again, that is what continues to add to this generational trauma that we experience, and it's not helping us in any way, shape, or form. A good way to do it is if you are responsible in managing your funds and you have a good credit score, knowing when to add your child as an authorized user on a credit card that you've never been late on, that is extremely important. Adding them as an authorized user and continuing to pay that credit card or that bill on time, because then what you're doing is you are allowing your child to pretty much have your credit score based on your history of paying your bills on time. And so that is what helps your child when they turn 18 be able to qualify for different financial products that are out there, because guess what? My parent was responsible. And even if they weren't able to give me like a lump sum of money, at least they were able to help me get a good credit score to put me in a better position.
Yes. Great points. And I don't know if you all caught that about the authorized user, but again, that is a great way to help your child build some credit without them actually having credit extended to them. All right. So Shanice said she has not, to be honest. That's all right. So hopefully you will now, moving forward. And my mom said not earlier, but she wants to know now. Ms. Jeanette came back and said in 2019 the white household net worth was 189 100, while black household net worth was 24,100, which I thought was what you were stating. Thank you for sharing that factoid. And then Dominique said great credit is everything nowadays, so yes, it's essential that we do the research and find ways to individually fix our credit scores. Absolutely. She learned about LexisNexis report and includes your life history. I'm familiar with that one as well. So thank you for sharing that. And Ms. Jeanette came back and said many consumers have the attitude of YOLO. And YOLO, for those who don't know, that is you only live once. Recently, I purchased a vehicle and was given 84-month loan. After 84 months, the bank would have earned over $8,000 in interest. YOLO is satisfied paying over the long term, which shrinks generational wealth. Yes. So that is a whole nother topic right there. Listen, about all of that interest that is paid. All right, Johnny, I see your question, but before I get to it, we are a little bit more than halfway through our conversation. So I want to tell those of you who are just joining us, this is Mindset Monday. We are talking with Miss Beneisha Hires, a licensed clinical social worker, but also a certified financial social worker. And we're talking about financial social work. This is part 2 of our conversation from August on financial social work. And tonight we've been talking about financial literacy. We've been talking about vetting financial institutions. And so Johnny Johnson is on with us. Thank you for being here, Johnny. He said, how does the authorized user work?
Okay. So let me give this disclaimer again. I am not a financial advisor. If you would like further details, I would encourage you to go to one of these financial institutions, and as you are vetting them, asking them for more information. But essentially, an authorized user is, let's just say if you have a Chase credit card and you have not been late on the payments whatsoever. And so what you do is you maintain a good balance. So I think like 20% or less of the overall amount that they have allotted you. So you would contact them and let them know that you want to add your child as an authorized user. I would encourage us to wait until the child is, well into their teens, maybe 14, 15 before doing so. And when you add them as an authorized user, Chase will send you a credit card in the mail with your child's name on it. I'm not encouraging you to give it to your child, but of course, everyone, you decide what is best for you, but you hold on to that credit card. And as you continue the cycle of, as you use it, making sure that you pay on time, that your utilization is low. And while you are building this healthy credit report in the sense of, hey, you have a history of on time payments, you have a history of responsible use, that history will then reflect onto your child's credit score or credit report.
All right, there you go. So authorized user, definitely check that out and see if that might be something that you could use for someone that does not have any credit.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, I shouldn't say typically, but sometimes parents do that for their children. All right, we got Joseph Ward, Mr. On the Shoulders of Giants, on with us right now. He's here in Tallahassee, and Susan is saying she really loves this conversation. All right, Antoine Wright is on here in Tallahassee. He said they actually don't have to have a card, so they, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
Shanice, this is awesome, wonderful. All right, so we have talked about lack of financial literacy, vetting financial institutions. Some of the other topics, as I'm flipping through my notes, that unless there was something more you wanted to say about those financial institutions.
No, not that I can think of. Again, vetting is really important. It is a business relationship. They benefit from you putting your money in the bank. It is helpful for us to be able to benefit from them being able to utilize our funds.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right, Kiosha has a question. She says, what is a financial social worker that a financial advisor is not?
So essentially with financial social work, we focus more so on mental health and how our mental health affects our relationship or behavioral patterns when it comes to finances. So again, I'm not a financial advisor. I am not one who would say, hey, you should invest in this, or hey, this is the type of retirement plan that you should consider. A lot of these things in becoming certified in financial social work, I just took the initiative to learn a little bit more. But the boundary is kind of that of like when it comes to actually investing or identifying good products to invest in, or again, identifying which retirement plans, things of that nature, that is where it is best to seek guidance from a financial advisor. I am more so on the end of, hey, we are feeling depressed. What happens when we feel depressed? We engage in retail therapy, or we had this YOLO moment and now we anxious because we don't know how to pay our bills. I address more so the mental health and the behavioral side of it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right. So Susan says she did that for her boys when they went to college for that purpose. I think the authorized user piece. And Adrian, something to think about for my son. Yes, absolutely. I will just add too, as it relates to Kiosha's comment. Really, what we're talking about is the mental models, right? Like, what is our mindset about money, and why? Is it because, as she just mentioned, mom, got the utilities in our name when we was 10 years old, or in using our social security number, or got a cell phone or the house phone, or whatever, and now our credit is messed up. you know is it, I saw my parents or caregiver charging all the time, or maybe they didn't use a charge card at all, credit card at all, they only use cash. So it's all of the things that we saw and did not see as it relates to money, and the conversations that maybe didn't occur. And so now we are, have thoughts about it. Maybe we are super savers, or maybe we're super spenders.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Is it because of what we witnessed um, from our parents? Is it because of something we saw on television or heard on the radio? How do we get here, and how do we change our mindsets around our spending and savings? I see we got Javon on from Atlanta. Thank you for joining us, my sister. All right, so I wanted to jump into this rent piece. So one of the ideas that we had in terms of a conversation or a topic is that rent is 100% interest.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So as you know, it's 100% interest. Whenever we pay interest, whenever we pay rent, essentially we are paying someone else's mortgage. We're probably paying at least one and a half, if not double, their mortgage. And so whenever we pay rent to our landlords, we don't get any deductions on our taxes or any tax benefits as you would if you were a homeowner, but instead we are making someone else rich. And I know sometimes some people may shy away from home ownership because it is a different level of responsibility, but however, home ownership does help to create generational wealth. It is an asset that we are that we are able to pass down. And then whenever you do become a homeowner and you have a mortgage, instead of you paying a $1,500 rent to a landlord that is 100% interest, you might be paying that same $1,500 to your mortgage company, in which only 8% of it is interest. The rest is going towards the principal, but you will be able to, own it. Or it could be a asset producing, or it could be a cash flow producing asset where you could either pass it down to your family members, and it could be like the house where, hey, if somebody fall on hard times, they're able to stay here, until they're good, until they get on their feet, either at a reduced price or free, however you and your family want to decide that. Or you could rent it out to someone else and then become the landlord, allow that individual to pay your mortgage, which it might be $1,500, but now you're charging $2,000 for rent. So not only did they pay your mortgage, but you have some cash in reserves in the event that if there are repairs, essentially that tenant is paying for the repairs and the upkeep for the property as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So just to also add to it, so don't want to make it seem like paying rent serves no purpose, because we absolutely need you to have somewhere to live, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it does serve a purpose, but to the extent that you can purchase a home, which is building an asset for you and your family, helping to build that generational wealth, and that you can maintain and upkeep that home. Because, that's the other part that, oftentimes it's not discussed. It's not just you paying the mortgage, it's
Mhm.
also the maintenance and the upkeep of that home. Then please, by all means, do so. So Antoine made a point that I want to circle back to, which I think is a really great hack as it relates to credit cards. And this is something that I actually do as well. He said a really good counter to that is to pay regular bills on a credit card and immediately pay off the card monthly.
Mhm.
All right. So I want to poll up the viewers and see if anybody else besides myself and Antoine do this. So for me, it, helps avoid late pays and all of that sort of thing, because it's going to hit that credit card, and I don't have to worry about it in terms of some of the the bills that I have, right? I have to keep up with the one that's due on the 5th, and the other one that's due on the 9th, and the next one that's due on the 11th. They all are just going to hit that one credit card, and I just pay that one credit card. And then the second benefit for me is the points. So I
Mhm.
utilize a credit card that I get some miles on, or points on. And with that, I get to redeem those points for travel and other things. So I absolutely love doing that. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? All right. Javon said she does. Plus the points are extra money for doing what we're going
Mhm.
to do anyways, which is pay your bills. Exactly. 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 All right. Let's see. Shanice says she needs a one-on-one. All right. And we got Sharice the boys on here. Thank you for being here. She said this topic for tonight is so good, and much needed financial literacy is so important. Indeed, it is. All right. Johnny, he needs some down payment assistance. All right. We'll have to talk offline, Johnny. And Javon said, finally, somebody said it. It's the commitment or fear of repairing the home that scares people. Also, our retirement, you have more money by only paying insurance and property taxes. Yes, absolutely.
So I just want to circle back really quickly
Uh-huh.
and emphasize what you said. We are not saying that you should not pay your rent, because if you don't pay your rent, you will get evicted. That goes on your credit and it makes things worse for you.
Mhm.
And neither am I saying, oh, you should just buy a home. Granted, you should buy it. We encourage home ownership when you are in a financial position to be able to do so.
Yeah.
And as I think you said, it was Jovan who mentioned the upkeep of the home.
Mm-hmm.
So in home ownership, there are things called home warranties, right?
Yep.
That can kind of help, you pay this monthly amount that can kind of cover you in the event that major appliances go out, such
Mm-hmm.
as like the refrigerator, the AC, things that are a little bit more costly. But
Correct.
again, until we actually take the initiative to do the research and be like, hey, is this something that I really do not want because I don't want that responsibility? Or is this something that I feel like I don't want because I don't fully know what all it entails? And actually just getting information, right? Making a decision based off information that we have. And then that way you don't have to live with these what ifs.
Right. Indeed. All right. So a few more folks chimed in and said that they do. So my mom said she does. Um, Ebonique said she does. Dominique said she does. Okay, cool. So we're not the only ones. Dominique said, yes, love my reward cards. All right, Javon said nothing wrong with renting, but there are more benefits to owning. And Antoine mentioned if someone steals your card information, it's the bank's dollars, not
Mhm.
yours. And that credit card provide protections against fraud. So, yes. Okay, Ross said yes, I did that for my daughter. Okay, wonderful. And Ross says some credit unions I know of, at least three, provide minors that have accounts with them financial classes and limited debit cards to teach them how to balance their budget and responsibly spend. All right, so that would be again part of that vetting.
Mhm.
We talked about financial institutions, banks, and credit unions. Seeing if they have some type of programs or what offerings do they have for minors as it relates to accounts or cards or what have you, spending plans. All right.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. All right. So I think that was good. Anything else we want to say on the rent being 100% interest?
No, that was pretty much the basics.
Okay, cool. All right. And then I think in our last point that I want to kind of tackle is this whole hookup mentality.
So the hookup mentality. We
Hold
got
on,
if
hold on one moment. Javon
okay.
said most credit cards, if you pay your cell phone on your credit card, they actually cover your damages. Okay, that's good to know. Didn't know that. Building wealth, as Karen said, in some areas, home values could be double in 10 years. Yes, 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 for sure. That is very, very true.
We call that equity.
We call that equity. Yes, the big E.
So the hookup mentality.
Hookup mentality. Yes.
So if you don't mind, I would like to briefly take a poll and ask how many of us have had um, someone we provide a service, whether it be we do hair, whether we cater, whether we have our own business, and we have someone come up to us that we may know, right? And they're like, hey, give me a hookup. Instead of you charging me $150 to braid my hair, I got $100. How many of us may have had those experiences where people want us to render our services at a discounted rate? Or are we one of those individuals who feel like we should get a discount? Like, hey, Nicole, I know you, so why you can't give me
All
the
right.
hook?
Just let me just come be on the show for free.
You know?
Right. Come do these interviews for free. Let me see. All right. In the comments, again, safe space, no judgment. Let us know in the comments how many of you have experienced the hookup mentality. You have a service, you cut grass, you cut hair, you bake cakes, you make prom gowns or whatever.
Or may know somebody who, even if you don't offer this service, like you may know somebody who has that mentality.
You don't have to say their name. Just let us know in the comments. Just give us a thumbs up, a church finger, something. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Don't go silent on us now. We coming to the end. Let us know. Don't be ashamed. We're
It's
not saying
okay.
it's you. We just asking you. Okay, Ebony. Thank you, Ebony. Great. Dang, I don't know what's going on with the people. She said yes, she knows somebody. All right. Well, I
So
know somebody. I know a few somebody.
as do I, a few of them, like you say. And so essentially the hookup mentality is where we think that we I have no data to support this, but I feel like it is something that we predominantly do within the Black and Brown community, where we go and we try to seek services from um, someone within our community and we expect a discount. Or if someone's prices are set, we want to complain and be like, oh, that's too high. I don't want to pay that. However, when our counterparts are offering the same service that is either identical or it may be a lesser service and their prices may be more expensive than that of someone in the Black and Brown community, and we'll pay it with no problem, right? We don't ask them for any discounts. We don't ask them for the hookup. We find out what that price is, and when we go, we have the full amount. It ain't no, hey, can I pay you half now and half later? And so that hookup mentality also contributes to, again, this wealth gap, right? Because it's like essentially what you're saying is, because I am of the Black and Brown community, even if I am the best social worker providing clinical services and my fees are my fees, you feel like I should charge you less because you're a family member or a friend, or because we're both quote unquote Black people.
We skin folk.
We
What?
skin folk. But like that's, yes, we
Oh goodness. Agent said people have asked me, can my husband give them a discount? I know of many people with that mentality. Okay, go ahead. Carry on.
and it's really an insult, right? Because again, if you're willing to pay my counterpart their full price and not me, but when it comes to me charging what my regular price is, there's an issue. It takes me back to the slave mentality of white is right. And so because, they are a white or Caucasian individual, we assume that their services are better or they're, up to par. And so we kind of downplay, services rendered by those of us in the Black and Brown communities, because again, when you go back to slavery and segregation, the mentality was that we are less than. And so it feels like it shows up in that way when it comes to business. And so a lot of times it makes it really difficult for minority businesses to sustain, because we either do not want to support them, or, if we are in, let's just say, a trade, right? Whether it be HVAC, electrician, things of that nature, we want to pay half now and maybe pay the other half later. Failing to realize, like, you're not only are you paying for the service, but you're paying for my experience, right? You're paying for the fact that I went to school and got this education to be able to learn how to do this particular skill, my efficiency, as well as the consistency as in, professionalism. And sometimes, we kind of be like, oh, we don't want to do business with us, but everyone does not do business the same within the Black and Brown community. And I think it's really unfair that we place that stereotype amongst every minority business owner.
Indeed. So we got a few comments. Dominique says typically family expects the hookup and will get mad when you don't give a discounted price. Mom said yes with church folks. That about how, because I belong to the church, she said. Antoine called it social capital. Javon said, I feel like folks really don't want to see you succeed past them. It's like if I do support, then it has to be to benefit them, not just you. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Some folks, not all, she said. Some folks, some folks. All right. Yes, very true. So we need to do better about that, Black and Brown folks. Right?
We
Um,
definitely do. We can't complain about this wealth gap if we are trying to rob each other of the wealth that we could acquire and we'll pay the full price to our counterparts.
Now, I will tell you that I do find more often than not that there are entrepreneurs, black and brown entrepreneurs, and even some white entrepreneurs that offer a family and friends discount, if you will.
Hmm.
So I think that is a great way to kind of handle it. If that's something that you want to extend, and there are some people that you may want to extend that courtesy to, but to have this kind of entitled expectation of it, I think is not so great.
Correct.
Hmm. Antoine said also no credit can be just as troublesome as bad credit. Okay, yes, it can. Indeed. All right. Anything else on this hookup mentality?
No, like you mentioned, it seems as if it gives off entitlement, right? And it is very selfish, very inconsiderate, and in some cases insulting. If someone wants to offer that discount, allow them to extend it, but do not come with the expectation that it is owed to you because you know this person.
True. Okay. Javon said it's sad because when I purchase from friends' businesses, they almost feel uncomfortable because I want to pay the full price. They say, "Are you sure?" It's sad. She
Hmm.
says she lectures them probably about their price being their price and that they need
Hmm.
to make this
And it
money.
also attaches to self-worth,
Mm,
right? So your price is your price. You have to feel confident in the services that you value. And guess what? Your services may not be for everybody. And we
mhm.
have to learn how to be okay with that and not feel like we have to lower our prices just to appease someone so that they can do business with us. Because sometimes then now we have a feeling of resentment. And
Yeah.
now are you providing the best professional services you can if you're operating from a place of resentment because I gave you a cheaper price even though I really didn't want to.
Yeah, no, all of that. So that's all part of those money scripts, right? Even
Hmm.
to the extent of us not feeling like our service is of value or our product is of value. Like we may devalue it because of the skin that we're in, right? And we've been told that we are not enough or less than or what have you. And so now, just as Javon is saying, they feel like, are you, the friends that she's trying to do business with, they're feeling uncomfortable because you want to pay them the price that they said their business or their product or service is worth. All right, Kiosha is saying, why in our community folks would rather play lotto every day or week than stick to a savings plan.
Kiyosh, I really wish we had the time. I feel like that within itself, it goes back to mindset. Um,
Everything starts with mindset.
it goes back to mindset.
Hmm. Yes, 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 yes. Javon, exactly. I tell them you have bills too. Charge your rate because you have overhead. Yes, yes,
Correct.
yes. All right. And Antoine is on this credit kick right here. He is on it, boy. He said authorized users can also work as adults in community collective economic building, business credit building, etc. Okay. We can lend each we can lend each other our credit scores, not just our children. Yes. So you can have, again, not the children only as authorized
Hmm.
users. So definitely check into that if that's something that you are interested in doing and maybe helping someone else if you have good credit or if you need some help with your credit, being a authorized user on someone else's account. All right. All right. So I think we have covered it. We have talked about well, this is financial social work. Again, Beneisha is a certified financial social worker, but we've talked about lack of financial literacy. We've talked about vetting financial institutions. We've talked about rent being 100% interest. We talked about the hookup mentality,
Mhm.
and yet there's still more, still room for more, still room for more.
There is. It is a lot. It definitely is. Oh, and we also talked about vetting financial institutions, y'all. It
Yes.
is so important to make sure that we vet these financial institutions. It is a give and take relationship.
Indeed. Johnny just said, can somebody let me have an 800? Let them borrow the 800 score. Johnny wants y'all to put him on as an authorized user. Can he hold a little something? A little something, something, that 800 credit score. That is funny. All right. So, Beneisha, I want to give you an opportunity to give some final comments and then tell folks how they can connect with you.
So final comments. A big part of generational wealth is having a generational plan. And it is really important for us to begin having conversations within our family about financial literacy and also being receptive to like older generation learning from the younger generation or just taking the time to research and do it together. The more we talk about finances and how they work, what we've done well, what we could do better, the more that we as a family unit as well as a culture will be able to grow economically. And also, again, just making sure we vet financial institutions. They could be a very valuable resource to you and they could teach you how to utilize the various tools that are available to us that we may not have knowledge of.
All right. And how can they connect with you?
So you can connect with me on Instagram at Beneisha_90, or you can email me at info@imatter2cc.com.
All right. And tell them just a little bit, because I don't think we covered it in the intro, about your business and who you serve and whether you do private pay or insurance and all of that good stuff.
So iMatter2 is my private practice. I came up with the name after doing the inner work, so going to therapy for myself. In the population, I'm passionate about men's mental health, prefer specifically Black men, but men in general. But I also see clients in general. So if you are a woman as well and you're seeking services, I'm able to offer that as well. I do financial social work. I am trained in EMDR, which is a trauma-based therapy modality. And I don't know, like call for a consultation and I'll tell you whether or not I'm a good fit. And if I'm not, I'm really good about referring or connecting you to somebody who will be able to meet your needs because I'm not for everybody, and I want to make sure clients are with someone that will be able to meet their needs.
Absolutely. And so this is why we do what we do, so that folks can connect with a clinician that may serve them well. And as Beneisha just said, every counselor is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
To find a person that you vibe with or is a good fit for what it is that you are seeking assistance for. And she just told you a little bit about her private practice. Are you accepting any new clients now?
Oh, I am accepting clients. But again, I'm slowly reaching the threshold. But I am accepting clients and I accept United Healthcare, Optum, Oscar, Aetna, and Cigna.
All right, so she does do some insurance, but also will do private pay. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right. So check her out. Her information is there. By all means, follow her. And if you're interested in a consultation, by all means do so. And she is based here in Tallahassee, so she can serve people that are located in Florida.
Correct.
All right, good deal. All right. So I hope this has been beneficial to you all. If it has, let us know in the comments. A few people have been chiming in. Mom said very much needed conversation. Thank you, Ma. Appreciate it. All right. Keidra says she stands with Johnny. She need to borrow somebody 800 credit score. So we got two people that got their church finger up saying they need to be authorized user on one of y'all's 800 credit score uh, cards. Ebeneche has joined us. Thank you for being here, my sister. She said, "Know your worth and develop a healthy relationship with different forms of prosperity. Hookups devalue. Yes, they become energy vampires. Yes, money is a currency and a form of energy. Do not let anyone rob you." Appreciate that, my sister. All right, Adrian said, "Great conversation. I'm glad I didn't miss this. We're glad you didn't either. Thank you for being here." All right, Javon, great conversation. Thank you, my sister. Miss Karen, good stuff. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dominique wants to know, can I get the hookup? Dominique, was you paying attention? We said no hookups. No hookups. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. Evanique is giving us some hearts. Thank you so much.
And I'm sorry, one final thing
Mhm.
to my family. Oh, thank y'all for showing up. Because as always, y'all show up and show
Your
out, and
family.
it is
Listen, I
really a
need your
joy. Like it
family.
makes it so much easier.
I need your family when you not here, because they be in here, okay? Listen, y'all, subscribe. I'm about to put my banner up. Look, I need y'all to subscribe, and I need y'all in the comments when Beneisha not here, okay? Because y'all be in here. Listen, can y'all adopt me? Because I need y'all to come on here with me and give me all of this goodness that y'all giving here tonight. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I really do. Katrish, she said, phenomenal conversation. Let's keep building our community generational wealth through conversation and application. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, let's keep this conversation going. Please tag a friend who wasn't on here. Hopefully, something that we talked about, I think they will find it beneficial. At least plant the seed. We either plant or watering. And there were so many nuggets that were shared here tonight. So Dominique says she's proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Shayla is giving some hand claps. Miss Lucille Lee, we love you. Wonderful. I
I
appreciate,
love you too, Auntie.
yes, appreciate all of that. All of that. So financial social work, financial social work. Let's do the work. We all have areas of improvement that we can make as it relates to our finances, whether that's increasing our credit score, whether that's some more savings, whether that's spending in terms of investing. We all got things that we can do, and we need to teach the young ones too, the little ones, right? So that they won't make some of the same mistakes that we've made or that we've seen others make. So definitely reach out to Beneisha, connect with her, and do your research. All
Do your
right.
research.
Oh my goodness, Dominique said my cousin know me, Lord. All right. So listen, there will be no show on Wednesday. I have an event that I have to host, so no wellness Wednesday this Wednesday. So watch your watch your rerun of your favorite show. Rewatch this show on Wednesday, okay? Watch the replay. But we will be back next week, God willing. And we want to encourage you all to just be your best selves and take care of yourselves. All right. Take care of your mental health. Your health is your wealth, and you need all of that. All right. Beneisha, thank you so much for being my guest. I appreciate you so much. I would ask you to come back for a part 3, but
Thank you for having me. I mean, if you want to, we can. It's up to you. It's fine either way.
all right. See, y'all heard it. Y'all are my witnesses. She said she would come back because, listen, we still got more topics
We really do.
that we really did not
We
discuss.
do.
So, financial trauma, setting boundaries, redlining, a whole bunch of other stuff that we
Mm-hmm.
didn't get to. So, somebody just said it. Part 3. All right, we're gonna see if we can make it happen before the end of the year. I know, the holidays are coming up, but maybe Beneisha let us, you know, take a little bit more of her time. Javon said, "Bring her back." All right. They said it. I didn't say nothing.
I mean, we try to please the people within reason.
Within
But
reason.
yes.
Within reason. Within reason. All right. Wonderful. Well, you all have been a great audience. Thank you for the engagement, the interaction that helps us with our energy and keeps us moving forward. So we really, really appreciate y'all. All right. Well, you all have a great rest of the evening, and we will see y'all next time.
Have a good one.